Good morning. Obviously, it's we're very excited. It's game week's finally here, and it's been a long time coming. A lot of work, great off season, and if we're just putting the finishing touches after today. Probably fall camp officially being over. But welcome, glad that you're here. It's a little bit different. There are plenty of places to park. School hasn't started yet. That's kind of different for me, my time here. But just really a couple things, and then I'll open up for questions. But coming off fall camp, I thought very productive. Um, from a staff standpoint, we return a wealth of experience, and 21 graduates already on the team. But with me saying that, I think we've got 40 to 42, 43 guys on our roster right now that have been at Ohio University less than 6 months. So wealth of experience, but I'm excited about the newcomers, and I'm sure there'll be some questions about those things. Week zero, all positive as far as preparation. Probably not having school started, doesn't start till next week, probably also adds to that as far as a double positive. And, you know, playing a premier program in San Diego State, a quality school in the Mountain West. Coach Hoke has got MAC ties at Ball State. I was here when we played them in, I don't know, '05 maybe, '04. I can't remember. My years are running together, but should be well of a game. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
All right, please introduce yourself before you ask your question.
Hey Coach, Eric Decker, Captain's Messenger. The kind of term you guys have been using with us over the summer with Curtis is ahead of schedule. So I kind of want to ask you, with going into game week now, is that still kind of the case, and just how's his progression been this summer?
Yeah, and I'll kind of sum it up with again, we're coming off basically 3 days off. You know, we did a mock game Friday, but it wasn't real taxing. And we're going to have a work day today. Normally Mondays are a little bit lighter, but we're going to take full advantage of the 3 days that we gave the guys off. We're going to have probably a final clear understanding where he's at after practice today. If that's fair.
And then I kind of want to follow up. We're focusing on him, but he's not the only Ohio roar. So we saw the video that your wife was trying to take the hummingbird the other day, and we've seen all the plays from Nathan in the preseason. So just what have you thought of him, and what's it like watching him?
Yeah, it's really couldn't be happier. He works. You know, as a player here at Ohio University, work ethic and what he's gotten done. You know, he's got goals to play in the NFL, and he's still has an opportunity to do that. Did as you said, I did get a chance to see the Dallas game, and then of course at Detroit, we had some Coach Isfering took his family up. I think Curtis went up to watch the game. And I thought Nathan did very well. I thought he played just better this game in Detroit than probably Dallas, to be honest with you. So I'm anxious to see how that plays out. But it's really a cool story with Curtis, and I can go way back with that. And Curtis, when I first met him, he's about this tall, and his favorite team was the Jaguars. I was wearing a Jaguars hat at the time. The head coach there was a good friend of mine, Gus Bradley. And to see that's his favorite team. That's where Nathan is. And Tyler Tettleton is on staff there with the Jaguars, right? There's three, probably the greatest quarterbacks that ever play here with Tyler, Nathan, and Curtis. It's really surreal. So.
Bobby Gorbett with the Post. How does game week differ from the preparations that you did in fall camp? And how early on in the process did you start concrete game planning for San Diego State?
Yeah, probably Wednesday last week. You know, we got through fall camp, got our two scrimmages in, and did a lot of game scenarios. As I mentioned earlier, Friday did a mock game, just substituting and kicking game and sideline management, things like that. But from Wednesday on, we've been working on San Diego State. They've got a new offensive coordinator. You know, defensively, that's probably their strong point, I would say. You know, they're a national top 20 defense. They present problems with their pressure packages and things like that, very multiple. But you know, today that we're in game week, and hopefully we can. The big thing is getting over the camp legs. We call them camp legs, and everybody getting fresh. So hopefully after today, we'll have a good understanding where we are in that department.
Bryce Henson, WAEB. You guys have high expectations. All things considered, the coaches' ball, picking you guys to make the MAC championship game. How have you kind of handled those expectations? Make sure you didn't get too high.
Yeah, I think just one game at a time. You've heard me say that a lot. And as I told the team, I said, hey, last year it is what it is, and this year there are expectations with our program, with what's returning. We accept it, embrace it, just be the best version of us in the moment, and have a good week of preparation. Enjoy that process. Play our best on Saturday, and we're just going to do that with each week, and off to this new journey, and see what that gets us at the end.
Especially with the Week 0 game being San Diego State, is there kind of any worries about a cross-country flight on week 1 and kind of the fatigue associated with that?
It sure is a worry wart like myself, you bet. Toledo played there last year for either game 1 or game 2, and talk with their DFO, Coach Kendall, and I go way back, and I visit with him, and really didn't say it was a big factor, and they kicked off I think at noon out there. We're a little bit later, which I think's even more of an advantage. I'm not as concerned with the time difference. So, we're going to make sure our guys are in bed, fairly early, just to make sure, because they're going to wake up out there probably, just their internal clock's probably 6 or 7 in the morning, and it's going to be like 9 o'clock here at 10. But with us playing at 4 o'clock, I don't anticipate it being a problem.
With this, with playing week 0 this year, I don't know if you guys have played week 0 before. Does that change the preparation in fall camp, or does it kind of just move everything up 1 week?
Yeah, everything's been moved up basically 1 week. There were some obstacles that we have not played week 0 here in my time. I don't, to my knowledge. But again, there's a few things that you had to adjust, whether it be summer school and the staff vacation. But we got through it, I thought, pretty smooth. And I think it's been coming off summer school and going right into the last week of July is when we started camp. Really was, I thought, again, a positive over the team going home for 7 or 8 days. And having, you worry about guys traveling and getting back on time and things like that. And we didn't have to go through that. So really, I thought, again, another positive. I'm having a game in week 0.
And then you mentioned kind of last week in your last scrimmage that you guys just have some normal camp bumps and bruises. So I kind of wanted to ask, now that camp's over, did you guys kind of get through relatively healthy? Are there any major injuries that you guys?
Yeah, that's a great question, Eric. I think, again, today's will be the big day. Whether it's Curtis, Torrey Cox has been banged up a little bit, Jacoby Jones, and Sammy, guys that, again, have, I think, normal wear and tear, soft tissue things, and again, this time off, and then going into preparation for San Diego State on Wednesday, that the physicality of the practices is cut down a little bit. So with those things mentioned, we're hopeful today that guys are flying around and the injury report shrinks even more than what it is right now.
Ever since Hope has been at San Diego State, they've really been a defensive-minded football team. What challenges do they pose into your offense this week?
Defensively, again, they're multiple. They do a lot of things. They do them well. Present problems in the running game with the multiple fronts. A lot of games, in the front 7. They've got basically 5 defensive backs in the back end, and It's like you're playing an academy, an offense. If you're playing Air Force, Army, getting ready for the triple option in a week's time, that's kind of what we're facing offensively with their defense, trying to get ready, and with us starting, last week on preparation against them, that's an advantage, I think. To get ready to play those guys in a week's time would be tough because they're just so multiple. I do know that they graduated a few guys off that defense, but from what we are reading, they've replaced them with quality players, and it should be a great challenge for the offense for sure.
And then you kind of mentioned it before, but especially week 0, only 7 games I think on the entire schedule. You guys are going to be getting an FS1 game.
Yeah.
How important is kind of the exposure?
I think it's great for Bobcat Nation. I really do. Anytime you got a chance to have that kind of exposure, whether you're at home or on the West Coast, I think it's a positive, especially with today and the platforms that our athletes have. And I don't know. You mentioned 7 games. Who starts last? But it's a 7 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. It'll be in everybody's living room and a lot of businesses, particularly locally, and that's got to be a positive.
You haven't seen guys in a couple of days, but Friday you had your scrimmage. Have you kind of noticed that the juices are starting to flow a little bit more now that it's game week and the guys are ready to hit somebody else rather than their teammates?
Yeah, that's the thing. You get in fall camp, and really, we could practice another month, and I'm not sure how much better we'd get. I mean, we're not going to get to take another step until we go out and play a game, and then we can see where we're at. And so the guys are tired. They're tired of hitting on each other. I could sense a little different intensity really last week when we started. Okay, now we're focused on San Diego State and in our film and practice reps and things like that. And you could tell the guys they're excited, really are.
We touched on the defense. New offensive coordinator for San Diego State. They struggled offensively last year. How do you prepare for the unknown of what they're going to bring to the table with the new OC?
Yeah, we're trying to, you try to, his background and, who left and just do the best you can. And so you're not, your defensively is a little bit different than how, we know what we're studying as far as their defense goes into film, and so they've kind of had to piecemeal some things together and do all their due diligence they can to find out, what things they're doing. I'm certain that late in the year they settle in at the quarterback spot. It got better each week. Numbers will show that. They're very, very, very talented in the tight end spot. Those guys are physical, catch the ball, got some really the running back, forgive me name-wise, but I think he maybe came from USC, if my notes are correct. Big-time speed. We will see nobody that has his kind of speed throughout the course of the year, and that we're not going to be able to simulate that in practice. So we're going to have to tackle well. They like things go through the running game, play action pass off of that. That makes you nervous, and probably get a lot of things done with the turnover battle. That's going to be huge in this kind of game. Good defense and a solid running game is usually a pretty good formula for winning a lot of games, and we're going to try to match it and see. Should be a well of a game.